green lights on, we just test audio before we start, please.
I'm just Richard.
Yeah, we good?
Yep, you got power phone.
There we go. All right, now start again.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna open this meeting now with audio at 5:01. We have enough people here for a quorum. And does anyone have any disclosure of conflict of interest?
No.
No, really?
Any adjustments to the agenda?
No, none.
Right on. I reviewed November 9th meeting minutes briefly earlier today. I give people a minute to go over them.
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes from the November 9th meeting as written.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Right.
4-0. We currently do not have any public to speak on non-agenda items. Keith, purchase orders.
None currently, obviously, within that conversation, starting the budget process, so we'll see what comes up with planning and et cetera, start to
Okay.
do that movement.
What was that generator out here that George had? Is that for you guys?
Town office,
Down office? You got that one installed?
we had the underground power went out. Off the lake, so we had to borrow that for temporary connection so we could doctor up. I'll take the line, the transfer switch to the generator out back, and utilize that as a new CNC line, which is a big swap. Anyway,
All right, so we have a new application. This is new, correct?
new application, the building is existing.
Okay,
Yeah, it's existing, it's been in place for about a year. Originally, there was no thought of him having any kind of living quarters above it, but given the circumstances and options throughout the community, he saw that it was potential income for him, or even a potential in-law suite for family or something like that.
understood.
Where is it?
So,
Oh,
this-
I thought
all
you
right,
were different.
no, this is Jimmy Janassi, 46 Depot Street. And he's bringing water and sewer hookup to existing garage.
Correct.
Or
But he
shed.
cannot convert it into living quarters until he gets a different permit.
Correct.
Okay. So it does require other permits. The CEO has signed off on this. Sewer is not going to be pumped. One bath, one kitchen, one washing. Potential for one bedroom.
Correct.
What do you do? Just bring them in for the street and start them off, cap them off, or?
Oh, he can have water and sewer. He can't use it as a back bedroom.
You can't have a
He
living
can't-
quarter. in
Right,
there.
you can't have a living quarter.
Yeah, shop, you get washer and dryer and shop sink or whatever.
Oh, I got you, okay.
It's-
They even for our conversation's sake, even the loft is considered a bedroom. They don't, code's kind of sticky on that one,
Mm-hmm.
but in our circumstance, it's considered it's a bedroom.
But, I mean, this is gonna get passed. Right?
But this is gonna get passed. It's
Yeah,
matter
I
of-
mean,
And Jimmy's been great about dealing with it, he knows.
you need a capacity letter from me for that? I don't think so, right?
Maybe we should just for,
I can, it's not too hard.
if you're comfortable verbally on the, stating that line is
So
capable.
We absolutely have.
is this being hooked, are they trying to hook this up before?
No,
Spring.
he called me last week as far as the water, and my water's closer than the sewer.
Yeah, originally he didn't want
Want
to
to go with the spring.
Originally, he wanted to connect, because he asked me, he handed in just before the last, just after the last meeting, and he wanted, was hoping he would date it. So he knows now, it'll be spring.
Okay, so this will be at the thaw. there any further discussion or? I guess the only thing that stands out is that, yeah, you can't have a bedroom in there until he gets a new permit from code enforcement.
And at this point, he's not gonna have any water or sewer until next year, right?
Correct. So I'm gonna make a motion to accept this permit with its caveats. For Jimmy Janassi, 46 Depot Street. For one bath, for at least getting the water and the sewer stubbed off, for one bath, one kitchen. And washer unit. Fee to be determined
135.
for 135, because it's one bedroom, for a fee of 135.
Okay, I second that.
Any further discussion? No? Go to the vote. I'm good. We are 4-0. Moving on to Chick Hill update.
There isn't a whole lot happening, honestly. Fields have been broken down. Snow system's been checked, pressurized. We had the air compressor service through Ingersoll Rand. We've done some work community-wise with helping people locate sewer service issues. We had a little issue with sampling through Katahdin. They have a staffing issue that we learned about, unfortunately the hard way. Small violation of the license, nothing punishable necessarily, just a little modification. It's minor.
Delay in getting results.
Delay.
Report.
Have since remedied that. Actually today, officially remedied with the results coming back. We have been pursuing new internet services for Chick Hill. We were hoping to keep it local originally, but again, based with some of the based on Chick Hill's location and trying to get power to what we were to where we wanted to have the range of the internet service. It became a little not cost effective, ineffective. And so since then we've pursued Starlink, which we're in waiting. We sounds great, heard it's great, but we no matter if you're just an average citizen or a municipality or whatever you are, it's the same waiting period. You get pushed back, doesn't matter. So right now we're looking at mid-2022
At the earliest.
at the earliest,
Yeah,
which tells me right now we're probably just as well off looking, waiting for Consolidated to come up with fire. That's probably just as close within that year frame time frame, probably realistically. So that's going to put on, it's, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, well, we're no worse off than we are now.
So do you have cell service up there?
Limited, so next to the building limited. So if I put a booster on up above the lagoons, I could get pretty good service, but I have to put a power booster, so receptions. It's kind of a unique situation.
Funny spot.
That's really kind of it, I think, for Chick Hill. Yeah, just budget season, so we're gonna start planning that. Looking for, look at our capital budgets, looking at operating budgets. Yeah, that's it.
All right. Everyone else better anyway. All right, continuing business, we have sewer connection compliance. I'm sure that's probably a little bit of a stasis.
Correct.
With the frost. So
Correct.
we only have, there's only one left.
Yeah.
Really?
Kenny's in motion of creating a system, which.
Yeah, that was,
And the other one is just a matter of.
that's either going to a different system or it's
Right.
being stuck in
That's
a
it.
box.
The other one is stuff's in place, it's just a matter of that connection, so, we'll pursue that, I think it's great. Understanding that, we have an agreement in place, and he needs to come into compliance, so. That's the number one thing there. Rate hearing wise, there's no new news, I haven't pursued anything with that since last meeting. I initially reached out to Maine Water, for conversation's sake, and there's honestly, it got put in the back burner again, so. But now is the right time to do it, so this winter. So.
Increasing sewer rates or reevaluating our sewer
Correct,
rates.
correct. That's gonna be the topic. As long as I can say, my thought right now is, as long as I can stay under what CMP did, we'll be all right.
Yeah, that's not gonna be hard to do. It is what it is.
Mhm. All right. New business. You know, horizon, I'm sure there'll be more
Yeah, I have, you
permits
know,
as the season goes on.
I
but-
definitely foresee more permits. Obviously, we know there's a bunch of conversation about development throughout the community. Primarily behind my house, and there was one development that may happen that this summer. This one will be the final planning of that. We'll have meetings, I'm sure, with the butters and everything as a potentially, I think up to like 30 units, whether that's a apartment building combo with some, houses or whatever, how they do it.
How
On quote unquote, the Collins lot,
Collins lot,
How much? How many?
they're just it's like 25 to 30 units.
workforce housing.
Wow.
That might be like, maybe like a, there's no actual forecast yet. There's nothing that's presented. Up to 30 units is up, but kind of been understanding. Again, I predict
How large is that lot?
5 acres, right? I think as it is right now, it's about 5.5 and 6.
Probably.
So, like, my understanding would be, my guess, again, it's nothing that I've been told formally, but I'm guessing that the 20 unit building probably, don't say they're like five duplexes maybe or something like that, I don't know. Could be less, maybe it's only 20 units, maybe they do 10 and 5 duplexes or something.
That's owned by
Currently, I'm owned by
M&H
M&H, yeah.
or one of
It
them.
might just be, it might just Joe on that, I'm not sure, but pretty sure it's M&H in general.
Mhm.
And then, again, things are still with conversation sake throughout the rest of the community. They're still seeking other options for workforce housing, quote unquote. So we'll see how that works. But I think the majority of what they're talking about doesn't influence the sewer system. But it will influence ultimately is septic field. A lot of these areas that are outside of it. If you think about saddlebags, development, if you think about anything to plantations that may grow, that's ultimately affect what.
Or what spray fields could take in
Yeah,
order for normal.
Septic field, so right now, if I mow it twice a year, we're allowed to take 600 and something thousand gallons a year of septic sludge. Plus I've got right now, it's like 450, 475 in that area, which is steadily growing.
So there's it's a 30, we can take a 30% increase
Technically. Right.
technically.
On
But
based on.
no
based-
one really likes to run it to the max.
No matter what the max one, and that's based on our I say maintenance maintenance routine. It doesn't involve any kind of future restrictions with DEP, with this PFAS and everything else that comes across, and understanding any kind of load on those fields.
Understood.
Fingers crossed. So that's something I think about as we develop and understand as Rangeley develops. We may have to look at expansion of those facilities, or
Is there land that's available?
there is
Be cleared?
There is. We also would be overly difficult to do that. Town has equipment to do so. We could also look at those that approach. I might do it. I may get it cleared in the meantime just to have it available, not necessarily to use it. It isn't even officially permitted, but it's on the initial permit as a future site. So build that route for sure. Also understanding
You do increments.
increments for sure.
Stump it, let it grow in, let it grow in.
Growing, maintain it on a regular basis, but the other part is, I think ultimately we're gonna have to look at, well, not just rates, but look at, there's gonna be a point probably where we may run out of beneficial ground or, adequate ground, so we, may come to a point where people have to pay to haul off now. Which, or we look at, I know, there was a point where Carabasset was allowing X percentage of septic sludge to come into the bar screen and become part of their collection system, but they have since stopped based on permitting nightmares and DEP, the testing has been, it was just so much fluctuation and so many variables when you did that. So I'd rather not pursue that one. So,
Gotcha.
anyway, that's kind of just a basic conversation on that one, obviously.
All right.
Well, all I got, honestly.
All right. All right, point number 11 is the next sewer commission regular meeting. It's January 11th, 2022.
I should be here, I have an appointment that day. But if I'm not, we'll have a meeting, I guess availability, but I can have somebody sit in my place. Obviously, there's no whole lot to discuss. And
I should be.
end of the day, I would say if there isn't a whole lot of. If the permit, if the agenda isn't super
Full?
full or anything like that, I mean, obviously. If I get information on the rate hearing, we can, but if it stays like where it is right now, I'll say, maybe we don't have a meeting.
Yeah, we can
It'll
push it off.
be. If there's a meeting, I'll have Ryan come down.
Gotcha. Next board of selectmen is January 17th. Any further discussion?
That's in there.
Does seem a little odd, doesn't it? Red, no, it's the January 3rd. Red, board of selectmen?
Right.
Calendar's right. January's wrong.
January 3rd.
January 3rd. 17th is no one, because the 17th, that's why it stood up, is MLK.
Yeah, Mel.
I was like, I bet I have something going
Or
on.
it's like next one is on the 20th, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, be the 20th, yeah.
Oh, yeah, the one in January is the 3rd. All right, any further discussion? All right, I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn this meeting at 5. Calling it 18 on that clock, 5:18 p.m. December 14th. Any further discussion? All those in favor of adjourning and going home? 4-0.
Wraps up the meeting and then.